for this video. We have obtained lots of new subscribers. If you're a new subscriber to this channel, please hit the notification bell as we drop videos on this channel all the time. Nevertheless, let's go and dive into it.
Other minor biological children who are below the age of 18?
Yes, I have 9 other kids.
How many hours do you work on average each week?
About 50 hours.
All right, this appears to be a motion to modify that you filed back in August of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, there is another party in this case, but not in this particular suit, and I think that is Miss Tiffany Pryor. But you're not doing anything to adjust her rights and duties?
Not today. Today, with this specific suit, we're just looking to adjust Mr. Johnson's child support.
You may proceed.
Right. At this time, the state will call Victoria Pryor.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Pryor, do you have any safety concerns about your address or contact information being disclosed in any order of the court today?
Yes, sir. My child has been by her stepfather, which is serving.
And we're back. The team is looking down the barrel of a 450.
19 years in TDC, and she has a protective order for her life, her whole life. And I do not want my address given out because I don't want his family knowing where she is. And for her safety, we have had to move a house because she had to go under lots of counseling, lots of screaming at night, fear. And I do not want that to come back to her. I mean, it'll always be there, but right now she feels safe. And that's an importance to me.
And these safety concerns are with this other individual, and you don't have any with Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Johnson and I get along fine. Mr. Johnson has never caused any problems or done anything that we have not discussed or went about. We need to do the best interest for Brandon.
What kind of health insurance do you currently have?
I have had Medicaid on her because no one had insurance when I got the child.
And was that when at the time of the previous order, was she also covered under that same plan?
When I got custody of them, I don't know what Tiffany and them had, but no one had insurance. So I had to do something to get insurance to pay for everything she needed, the counseling sessions, everything that could possibly help. And because I have custody of her, they were lenient because I was a grandparent and gave me the Medicaid for her.
And are you asking the court today to to adjust Mr. Johnson's child support to be based on the current statutory guidelines?
Yes, whatever we need to do to make whatever right. I mean, whatever we need to do. Yes, sir.
Right. And do you have health insurance available to you through any affordable private source?
No, sir. I am self-employed and I do not. I pay for my medical insurance.
Right. I have no further questions. I pass the witness.
Call you next week.
At this time, the state will call Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, do you have any other minor biological children who are below the age of 18?
Yes, I have 9 other kids.
And do any of these 9 other children live with you?
Yes, 5 of them do.
And then on the other 4 biological children, do you have a obligation to support them?
Yes, sir.
And where do you currently work?
Transglobal Solutions.
And are you paid hourly there?
Yes, sir.
How much do you make an hour?
I make $20 an hour.
And how many hours do you work on average each week?
About 50 hours.
So those 10 overtime hours, are you paid time and a half for those 10 average overtime hours you work?
Yes.
So it sounds like that you make a total of about $4,766 a month.
Yes, sir.
Right. And is there a health insurance available to you through your employer?
Yes.
All right. What would be the cost to enroll on your health insurance through work?
I think it'll be around $200. I'm not for sure on the price of it. I'm trying to get the details on it right now.
So the $200, is that every 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, and who's covered under that 200? Is that how many people are covered?
That'll just be me and one child.
Okay, so then abortion would be about 100 every 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
So that would come out to about 216 every month.
Yes, sir.
And does that include health and dental insurance?
It includes health, dental, and vision.
Okay. And what were you doing at the time of the when the previous order from 2020 was entered?
I was still making the support order that I was currently making.
What were you doing for work at that time?
In 2020, I was working for Marita Trucking.
Okay. And when did you start this current job?
I started working at Trans Global and been there 2 years. I think 21. That's when I started at Trans Global.
Okay. All right. And do you plan to stay there for a long time? Is this a permanent job that you currently have?
Yes, sir. Until they decide to get rid of me.
All right. Thank you. I have no further questions. I pass the witness.
Are you next witness?
I have no other witnesses, Your Honor.
I have a question.
1 second. I'll get right with you and I'll let you ask. Okay. Do you have any other witnesses, Mr. McNulty?
No other witnesses, Your Honor.
Do the state rest?
Yes, the state does rest.
Ms. Pryor, so the state is asking me to take a look at the child support that Mr. Johnson is currently having to pay you for the child. They're asking me to adjust it based on the fact that he's making much more money now than he was back in, actually this order goes all the way back to 2008 was when it was originally set. So the child support has not been adjusted since that time. Do you have any questions or comments about this case before I make a ruling?
I have one question. Is that insurance for the child? Is it for all children or one child? Because some insurances, if you pay the 200, it's for all your children.
And that may be. You might be right.
I was just asking.
Yeah. I mean, I spread it out anyway, so it doesn't make any difference, Mr. Pryor.
Okay.
I mean, I more than likely I can't tell Mr. Johnson what to do in regards to the other children because they're not before me today, okay? But that's not a bad question. Any other questions, Ms. Pryor?
No, sir.
Mr. Johnson, you got any questions or comments about this case before I make a ruling?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. The court's going to find, of course, jurisdiction. The court's going to find that there has certainly been a material substantial change of circumstance. Mr. Johnson is obviously making much more money than he was making back in 2008 when the child support was first established. I'm going to adjust the child support in this case to $445 per month. That did give Mr. Johnson credit for all the other dependents that he has. His testimony was that he has 5 biological children in his household, plus 4 other children that he's legally responsible for supporting. So according to the statute, I'm required to give him credit for those children. I will order Mr. Johnson to carry the health insurance on the child. I did not give him full credit for that. $175 a month, Mr. McNulty, for the medical and $40 for the dental. I didn't give him any credit for the vision because he's not required to have it. So that's going to be the ruling of the court. The payments will begin November the 1st of 2023 and every month thereafter until the emancipation of Johnson or further court order. Mr. Johnson will be required to pay the court costs in this case, but I will give him until April the 30th of 2024 to pay my court costs. Now, Mr. McNulty, according to Ms. Pryor's testimony, she has a good relationship with Mr. Johnson, but there is a protective order in place against a third party. I'm going to grant the non-disclosure in this case in regards to a third party. There will not be a non-disclosure granted against Mr. Johnson in this case. Ms. Pryor, that means that your address is not going to be in the court order. Does Mr. Johnson know where you live? Does he know how to contact you so he can get his visitation rights with the child?
Yes, sir. He calls, he talks
Good.
to her, he comes and visits. We usually meet halfway while he can pick her up because he lives in Beaumont and we live here. So we do talk and we do communicate.
Cool. That's very good. That's what I want to hear. And that way, Mr. Johnson, I'm doing what the other court told me to do and protect her address from this third party. But you guys have a good relationship, so you know how and where to go about picking up and exchanging the child and having contact. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. McNulty is going to send me an order. If it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it and get it back to them. Then they're going to make a copy of it and send it to each of you. Ms. Pryor, you got any questions?
No, sir. My only concern is, and Mr. Johnson hasn't, but if he loses his job, he has lots of counseling because of due to her, and I don't want to lose that and then her not get covered. So I'm a little worried, not that he hasn't, but she has Medicaid, and it's a safety zone for me because she takes the meds, she goes to the doctor, she goes to counseling. I just don't want this insurance to go away and me have nothing to cover this child.
Okay.
Because it takes 30 days to get the Medicaid back.
Ms. Pryor, I can't help you there. I mean, there may be a conflict in the law in regards to this issue, but under the laws of this state, the obligor parent is responsible for providing the health insurance for the child, not all of the taxpayers. Okay. If he has it available for him, then he's going to have to go get it. Now, Ms. Pryor, if you and or the child qualify for Medicaid on your own, this order won't impact that. Okay. So you just have to take that up with the folks at Medicaid to verify that the child is going to continue to be able to receive those Medicaid benefits, even though Mr. Johnson is providing the insurance for the child through a secondary source.
Okay.
Okay. Good question, though.
Okay, so now that we get a full understanding of the case, she was not fearful of the father, she was fearful of a third party. And in this capacity, it's just unfortunate that this transpired, and she has to have these protective measures in place. But men, we have to be just a little tad bit more disciplined when it comes down to children, because as you can see in this case, dad is working 50 hours a week. He can't afford to be sick. He can't afford to be anything because of the capacity of what he has going on. Nevertheless, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, subscribe as we'll be coming to you more videos in the future. And once again, hit the notification bell and